We have an amazing show today. This is going to be super, super fun. And one of our really good friends is in the building. DeeDee, I want you to let the people know who we got in the building.
You know, he really needs no introduction.
He really doesn't.
But he is literally one of my favorite artists, my favorite songwriters, just an all-around good man, period.
Yes.
The honorable, okay? The people will try to duplicate. We see y'all.
We see y'all.
We see y'all, we know what it is. Never to be duplicated, Myron Butler.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I love this. This is an amazing platform.
Excited.
So I'm thankful. So yeah.
We got Myron Butler in the building.
I know.
You know,
kind of major.
And it wasn't hard to get him either. It was just a text. That was a text. I said, now, wait a minute.
I'm not a talk to your people type guy.
No,
You're not. You're not. You're not that. But see, that's what you got to do. You got to text them and see. I put DeeDee and I. See, that's what you got to do. Because if it was just me, you would have been, bro, I know.
No, I will. You know, now everybody,
But but I feel like this is long overdue.
Absolutely.
Because I have, sat in the studio with you and just to see how I have a record in my head.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say the record because we do not want anybody to be upset. But there was a record that you ended up getting that we had to record.
Okay.
And when you played us the scratch, we were like, what are we about to do with this?
No, I probably was like, all right, Myron, I'm finna go.
You said we just gonna take it piece by piece, and we went in, and when I listened back to that song, I'm like, y'all don't even understand what this sounded like before. But the stuff that you have been able to come up with just from a production standpoint, I'm just like, this is a gift. Because I wouldn't have heard none of this. I would have been like, so this song is not going to be able to go on your record.
This is trash.
It can't.
And,
we can't do this. But so I feel like this conversation is long overdue because I want people to know the genius behind what people hear.
Absolutely.
Because, we're going to get into the records, but Levi was a whole
very much
mood. It was a mood.
Those are my babies.
Revealed was a whole mood. So we're going to get into all that. But I feel like the conversation has been needing to happen.
Yeah,
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
You literally have pioneered a lane. And
Yes.
one of my biggest things when we were talking was who we were going to have on the show was we need to be able to celebrate these people that people are kind of looking over.
Gotcha.
And, and all of that. And so you are incredible.
Thank you.
You are actually a piece of what brought us together. We'll talk about that later.
Wow.
But it's very true. And I just wanted people to know, we wanted people to know just all that you do. We know that you're a singer. We know that you're a writer, but you do a lot.
Yeah.
And so people don't know. But
probably do too much.
you got to do it these days.
You're right about that.
We got to die in.
And have many streams.
Okay, we got to have many streams, and we got to leave here empty.
That's right.
We can't take
That's right.
anything.
That's right.
That's what I'm wrapping my head around now is that with creatives, because I don't know, growing up, we were always told, whatever it is that you want to do, get to that one thing, you stick to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So growing up, you would ask kids, in the 80s, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. And so that's what our parents pushed us to.
Absolutely.
Today, creatives mean I can literally do everything.
Everything.
I can be a singer. I can be a photographer. I can also be an attorney.
Yep.
I can own a cupcake shop. I'm doing all of this stuff at one time, and no one is going to look at you crazy because it's like this. It's today.
Yeah.
And I love when you say that because I think a lot of times what people may subconsciously do is they'll relegate creating to just creating music.
Yes.
Correct.
And it's like, a lawyer is a creative.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, like, I need this deal to happen. So I need you to create the the framework, and the paperwork that's going to make this happen. But it is to, I kind of liken it to like when my grandmother would go to the grocery store, she would say, I'm going to go make groceries.
I'm gonna go
groceries.
You know, and it's creating,
Yes.
you know, out of nothing. And I think that's the one thing that I've always been enamored with. And creativity drew me because I'm the only one in my family. No one else does, you know, my mother, not my mother, you know, and I grew up in a single parent home. And so I always understood that music and creativity called me. You know, it wasn't anything that I was like, I got to get everybody out the way so I can do this. It was something that I know I was put on this earth to do.
Yeah.
That's okay. So let's get into this. We're just gonna start from the beginning.
Okay.
So you're the only one in your family.
Only one.
That sings.
Yep. Does any kind of music.
Nobody in the family.
Nobody.
No. Can anybody in the family sing?
No.
I am so shook because why? How does this even happen?
I mean, so I grew up in a very small town in Florida, and at a very young age in church, I was always enamored with the organ player in the
Same.
church. Okay.
Same. I have a thing.
And so she would play every Sunday, and I'm talking about, 3, 4, 5 years old, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And I would literally get a chair and pull the chair up next to the organ in church service and just sit there and watch her play for the whole service.
Wow.
I had no idea why I did it.
Right.
No one told me to do it. Nobody stopped me. It was just, that was something that I was drawn to.
Yeah.
And so at an early age, then melodies and lyrics would start to come to me. And I'm like, why am I hearing this?
Yeah.
But songs would come. And I started playing at an early age, but literally no one else. So it's not like I come from a long line or list of musicians, or a long line of singers, or a long line of songwriters. It's just something that I know I was put on this earth to do.
Wow.
And at that point, that took a lot of guesswork out of life for me.
Oh, okay.
Because when you understand what you're put on this earth to do, then even when you don't feel like doing it, when you second guess yourself when you do it, there is still an innate knowing that no matter whether I'm the popular guy, whether I'm on the mountain or in the valley, I know this is what I was put on earth to do. And that it focuses you on your purpose, and you're not, just randomly running around life saying, okay, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? No, I know I was put on this earth. One of the things that I was put on this earth to do is to create music that would empower people, that would encourage people, and to give the gift of music and the knowledge of how to create music to other creatives. So that for me was very defining on one of the purposes in my life. Now the thing is, that's not all I was put here to do.
Right.
And so we talk about, I'm gonna do cupcakes, I'm gonna be a lawyer. I get it, because I understand from a fundamental standpoint, I'm here to create, but what that creativity looks different in various points in my life. When I was young, and I tell people, I walk into a studio or a music setting and I'm able to tell, do they need the choir director, Myron? Do they need the songwriter, Myron? Do they need the singer, Myron? Do they need the musician, Myron? And at that point, it enables me to be able to kind of exist in a lot of different areas.
That is a gift. And I have seen you operate in that gift firsthand, and it is amazing to me. And the reason why it's amazing to me is because me personally, I feel like I am the same way everywhere. You're gonna get DeeDee. You're gonna get me. You're gonna get DeeDee. But so to see someone who you're not just booked to come and do a song or whatever, like you can consult, you can go to churches and say, okay, so your choir, the reason why they're struggling here is because y'all don't have no direction over here. Or the reason why your praise team is, I've seen you do all of this stuff up close and personal. And it actually has helped me to rest more in the side of me that I don't like to be public. Like I don't want to be known publicly as a creative.
Okay.
It just, because I'm such a corporate girl. I came from corporate
This
America.
This is true.
And so it's for me, a lot of times creatives can just be all over the place. I don't want to be all over the place. But you have shown me that it is okay for you to, because I think that there are a lot of times when you can go corporate when you're having to work with different ministries that you're not a part of. You have to be in order to be able to come in and do what you do. So I think that watching you do that has allowed me to be like, I don't have to just be the girl to come in and do the stacks.
Yeah.
I can come in, and even though I didn't know that this is what I was doing, like until someone told me just a few months back, DeeDee, this is vocal producing that you're doing with. And I was just like, oh, for real? Because I just be telling people, nah, girl.
That ain't it.
That ain't the note. Sing in the center of it. I didn't know that was I didn't know that's what I was doing. And then they were just like, no, you can actually get paid for doing that in the sessions too.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I
Two
just
checks. Me too. Multiple.
Book me.
Book me.
Email me at bookDeedee.
I've been leaving money on the table.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah, and I think that is another part of purpose, is that the purpose it looks different in different environments.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm reminded of times when my wife and I would go, they would bring me over to Tasmania, Australia to do a vocal workshop, and it'd be like 300 people in the choir. None of them were saved, but they love gospel music.
Yep.
But they had no reference of how we learn gospel music. In gospel music, I sing it to you, you sing it back to me, and we do the song.
Yep.
No, for them, they need sheet music. And in bar 67, on this word, is that an A flat, or do I go to the, and you got to be able to speak their language. So it's all about being able to speak, and to be able to convey what you've created to different audiences. And I think that's what allows you to have a long life in this. Yeah. It's not so that you're not one dimensional, so that it's not like I can only do this. No, I can do this, and I can do it in all of these different settings. And I think as creatives, because and when you speak about creatives being all over the place, it's because, in my opinion, creatives, our inspiration gets triggered by so many different things.
So listen,
for sure. For sure.
I am seeing this now. Being married to one, it's just like, Bruce calls me with some of the most random of ideas, and I'm just like, what sparked this? What did it? Well, I was watching it. Okay, because I just need to know the origin story of it, because otherwise I'm gonna be looking at you like.
And sometimes it doesn't even have to be something specific. Sometimes it can literally be your own thoughts. I felt real talk. Like that's what it is. It's not, I felt this, or whatever. It comes with that.
And you know me, I could go. We gonna laugh. We can go to the Bible, but it's like when God looks out at nothing and says, "Let there be." Yeah. That's because when he created man, he gave man creative ability. Yeah. And at that point, it's like, okay, even if I'm drawing out of, the essence or thoughts within myself, or if I see something or someone says something, all of those things kind of spark creativity. Yeah. And I think what we should always be able to do is to be able to articulate what we hear or what we feel or what we sense, because that's where, the things that we never would have heard, we never would have heard a song like that, or heard music like that, or heard, theater or whatever like that, or whatever the art, artistic expression is. I think if we are always able to keep that channel open of always letting the creativity flow through us and being able to articulate what it is, then the world, is made better.
But one of the things that you have to do, especially as a creative, is you have to trust that. True. And you have to be able to do that. And so a lot of people, you have to be secure in your creativity. Absolutely. And a lot of times, I don't know, that could be a double-edged sword sometimes too, because you have some insecure creatives that do it very, very well. True. But at the end, they're always, is this gonna,
And so my experience with that is when I see insecure creatives, for me, typically what it is they don't trust their voice. It's like, and even not even your singing voice, but whatever your gift is, to me, that's a metaphor for a voice. If you play, that's your voice. Right. If you paint, that's your voice. And I think, you have to trust the gifting that you have and the ability that you have. And I think a lot of times what, is always, or most times is at play is comparison. Yeah. How is this going to stack up against somebody else? Yeah. And so at that point, maybe, I may not share it, or I'm apprehensive about sharing it because I don't know what the response is going to be. Right. And it's like, this is what I got. If y'all like it, cool. If you don't, all right, we're moving on. Right. Yeah.
So so you grew up in Florida. Yes. How did you get to Dallas? Yeah. I always wanted to know, because people are like, he went to arts, and I'm like, I thought he was from Florida.
Actually, before Arts Magnet, I was at, I believe it was Pine Elementary in North Dallas, because I would have went to Hillcrest if I didn't go to
No shade to Hillcrest, but we're glad that you showed up at Arts. Okay?
Right. So, born in Florida, around the age of 10, my mom goes to this technical school. I think it was, they got in trouble. It was one of them like old tech, colleges where you go and get a trade, and met a boyfriend. And boyfriend lived in Dallas. Young girl, I'm gonna show you the world, and we moved to Dallas.
That was his voice. What was the voice again? What he say?
Young girl, I'm gonna show you the world. I'm gonna buy you, and then I'm gonna give you. And so then we ended up in Dallas, and so that was around I was like 10 or 11. And before that, I was raised by my biological mom and my call him Big Mama.
Yeah.
And she passed, and so that's when we moved up here to Dallas, and that was literally it. It's always been me and my mom.
Yeah.
And I'm an only child. Always did music. So from Pine Elementary, whatever the elementary school was, I went. No, that was middle school. That was middle school, not elementary. And then after that, arts came by, and so I ended up at Arts Magnet. So you're in that whole ecosystem. When I got there, I think Erykah Badu was a senior.
Okay.
Her and Roy Hargrove.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so just growing, and that was the nurturing. So that's where I kind of got informed about all the creativity that I had.
Okay.
Originally auditioned for piano. Got in piano. I was like, no, I want to sing in the choir. So I switched over to the choir, and the rest is history.
So when did it become plain to you that you wanted to do it professionally?
Yeah. So I was a junior in high school. I'm a junior at Arts. And they started the DFW Mass Choir.
Okay.
I will let nothing.
That was my song. That was my song. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna join this choir. And
in the 11th grade, because weren't these super adults? Like these were adults, like in their 30s.
Yes, they were.
Why did you want to sing with a bunch of, because at that time they would be considered old. We're not today.
Right.
But what I'm saying is in high school,
you're right.
Singing with 30 and 40-year-olds would have been.
Because to me, I was looking for an inroad to like be a part of a recording choir.
Okay. Okay.
And that was the closest inroad because back then the only other recording entities in the city were Trinity Temple.
Yep.
Or Cornell Morrell in Newark.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go be a part of DFW. And so much so that they would rehearse on Mondays, and we would either rehearse at Armin Brown's church, which was over across the street from Kimball.
Yep.
And then when the rehearsals were in Fort Worth, they were at Stranger's Rest.
Yep.
I would walk downtown, because Arts is downtown. So I would walk downtown by the Earl Campbell building, get on a Greyhound bus, and ride to Fort Worth just to go to rehearsal.
I would like for everybody to understand that this is why Dallas and Fort Worth cannot be. I don't know why they be putting Twin Cities, because if you got to get on the Greyhound, if you got to get on the Greyhound bus to go from downtown Dallas to Fort Worth, that's a drive. We went in flights to go to Fort Worth.
But I wanted to be a part just that bad.
Yeah.
And they had something called New Music Monday, and that's when the choir members or anybody from the community could come and present a song that they wrote. So of course, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna present my song, and that was the very first time. So the directors were Kurt Franklin and Ricky Womack.
Yep.
And I remember after I presented my song that Monday night, I went to the back of the church, and Kurt came up to me. He was like, "Man, you got talent. I want to take you up under my wing." And it was at that point.
Wow.
And that was the beginning. And so that was the first song that I had recorded, and then. When I came back, so I was at Morehouse for a year, and I came back to Dallas after that. So that DFW was my first song being recorded, and then when I came back from 1 year in college, I was playing at a church in Fort Worth, which is my wife's father's church, and she was an original member of the family, and so
who was an original member of the family?
Timberland's mom.
Oh, yeah, okay, I was about to say, Timberland used to be
No.
I'm finding out the tea today.
Right.
Okay.
But me and her mom wrote a song, and we wrote a song for Kirk's Christmas record. And it's at that point, that's when it went from, so I always wrote songs. Like started writing songs when I was 9 years old. But then at that point, I was like, this is part of what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
And this is an outlet for me to do it.
Wow.
And after that, then it was Victory for Kim Burrell. And then like Minister. And this
you wrote Victory?
You didn't know that?
No, baby. I just be singing. I just be singing the songs. I don't be knowing nothing.
Yeah.
I freaked out when I realized that. I literally was like, yo, there's a lot of people.
I mean, but back then, it was the sheer love of songwriting. Like, I'm legit at the concert, telling the artist, hey, I got a song for you here. Take a listen to it.
You were doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. How you are today, you were actually going up to people that were not coming to you.
So you see, because that's never happening today.
No, that's never
happening today.
It's so funny because when you get to, and I think I like it better this way, is I got to know your personality first before I knew what your resume was. Yeah. Because none of this makes sense to me. Because what I know today is he's never coming.
No.
He's not coming.
No.
But I think as you get older, because you've given so much of yourself all your life, when you get older, you just be like, nah, I'm real good at being at home.
I am, and I think that's because it's like this, kind of dichotomy. Like then back then was God's property, and we were legit singing like seven musicals in a weekend. So music was all day, every day. Yeah. And it's what we did. And so for me, it was just an opportunity to get to, the music and the songs that I wrote, like to hear them recorded and to hear them on the radio. It was zeal. It was, I was like, you're young.
Yeah.
And, but that was how it started off for me. And I always knew that I wanted to do more than one thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to sing. Yes, I played in church, but I like songwriting, and songwriting is what actually led to producing. So
let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go there, because a lot of people don't know how masterful of a producer you are. And it's not even just sitting back in the day like MPC and it's bringing people together and bringing the pieces together and making it happen and people trusting you. But like I said, a lot of people don't know that you produce. So let's get into that just a little bit.
So I started out, and I would legit be at the house with a sheet up on the door with a mic in front of it, recording the demos with my little Roland VS 880 and just grinding it out, me and Candy. And so I remember we had to sing at Bishop Owens and Susie Owens church in Washington, D.C. We were on the God's Property promotional tour. And there was another artist that was there that Sunday. And the artist was a duet, Ted and Sherry.
Yeah.
And that's how I met them. And they asked me for some songs and asked me to write some songs. And we would legit be on the phone. Ted was at work, Sherry was at work, and I would call and we would legit write songs on their lunch break on the phone. And so, just starting out, figuring out the record. I want to say Tone did 3 songs.
Yep.
And I did the rest of the record.
Wow.
And it legit came out of writing songs and, hey, I'll do the track,
So you did, because I think I found this out maybe a few years back, that you did Celebrate. Is it Celebrate?
Yep.
Would have never.
Yep.
I would have never known.
But if you go back and you listen to it sounds like a Myron Butler tag. It sounds like that.
That's Bridget. Yeah.
Yep.
And that was actually the second record. So the first record we did, that's the first Ted and Sherry record, had Come Ye Disconsolate. It had the song that Ray and Whitney do.
Right.
Thank Him.
Thank Him.
Yep. That whole record. I mean, it was legit, just I don't know, it was so much about the music.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the joy for us. It was, hey, you know, I want to write a song about this, or let's talk about this. And it was the sheer joy of writing songs and bringing songs to life and creating a project for them. So I did that first record for them. Then I did the second record, second Ted and Sherry record. And then after that, I think, man, I did a couple of songs with Trinity 5-7. And then when we did 1NC, man, then it started going there. After that, everything.
Please don't go there, because he
What?
really be on his.
I've told you how. No, so I have an idea. I think I told you this before.
Yeah.
But I want to do a tribute to 1NC.
Wow.
And like recreate those songs. You know, now it was a time we know,
Right.
we understand, but at the time in that happened, even that was still groundbreaking.
It was ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its time, because the Saints are in it in 2022.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That way it was ahead of its time, and it was looked at as like, what are we talking about?
Which camera is okay. They didn't want to see bag today.
Right. It was ahead of its time. I think the other part, you know, just, you know, because I tell you, I'm an open book. That was 1NC was after like the God's Property, debacle kind of thing. So there was a lot of things kind of going around that surrounded that. But I mean, we were doing the.
Nah, it was bomb.
It was that.
Like, it really was the thing that really honestly opened for me. I mean, because there have been so many contemporary gospel artists out at that point, but for me, when people ask me today, how are you able to harmonize with absolutely everything? Because all the groups that were coming out at the time were doing. So you had to find your part.
If you're gonna be a part of the group.
Okay, and I feel like I'm in a group at 12 years old when the song come on the radio. I'm singing my part.
Absolutely.
Do you have your part? You can't sing in this car.
No.
So it was a thing. Like, you trained. I tell people all the time, there is no training for what it is that we do.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, like that. It's a part of the fiber of you, you know, as a singer, as a musician, that you automatically know. You know, and that's why for me, a lot of times I have to temper myself, because we live in a different day.
It's a different day.
And, you know,
people don't want to sing three parts.
Absolutely.
They definitely want to just be doing octaves.
Octaves in unison, and God bless your octave self, huh? Amen. Touch your neighbor, say harmony. Your octave self.
Listen, those of us that like a little more zhuzh, you got to put some harmony to some of this stuff. Y'all.
Absolutely.
We are tired of singing in unison.
Yeah. Come on up.
The Kreative's Way is sponsored by World Fidelity Life. They realize how important your family is to you and are determined to provide the best living benefits life insurance has to offer. World Fidelity Life. They make life insurance easy.
And that was a part of the training, the school. I mean, when you walked into, whether it was a group, whether it was a choir, you understood like the default setting is to be able to sing harmony, to hear harmony. And so for me, a lot of times when I'm in front of different choirs or ensembles, I kind of have to temper myself, because in the back of my mind, there's expectation.
There is an expectation.
When I give one part, everybody else got theirs.
Yeah.
Huh? And if everybody's looking at me like, well, I have to kind of, Myron, shut up.
That is what I have seen up close and personal, because I remember one time you put up a video of me, Candy, and Peaches we had been doing work in the studio that day, and you had put up a video. And then the three of us posted individual videos of us in the booth. And somebody in the comments was like, they tagged somebody else and said, oh, look, he has them standing around one mic. So that answers your question from the other day. Do they record in separate mics? And I'm like, Oh no, so people don't know how none of this go. Wow. And that's when I was just like, yo, I feel like more artists, especially gospel artists, need to do behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. Because number one, it endears people to you better because they get to see how you are in the studio, what your personality is like, and how you do stuff because you ain't never gave out no parts in the studio with the three of us. No. You sing that one part and you just be like, all right. Amen. She waiting on you.
The mic.
The mic is
waiting. And we go in and do
it. And I think that for me, because I think if we talk about, being whether a session musician, and to me, both, instrumentalists and vocalists are musicians, both of them. But to me, that speaks to how you value the craft.
Yeah.
The craft of being a session singer or a session, instrumentalist, at that point you are coming in on top of your game and not, coming in needing your hand held and not, babysit. And for me, because to me, those things can be hindrances to the creativity. Yes. Creativity flows when we what about this? Change that, or, turn the note that way. And to me, that's kind of always been what I just expect. That's my comfort, y'all are my comfort area when it comes to working in the studio. And, for me, it's all about, you're right, I think this generation does need to get kind of a bird's eye view into that process so that they can see, another way or another, it can kind of inform how they do it.
Yeah. And it can also inform them on the reason why music sounds the way that it does right now versus how it sounded.
We want to get into that?
Okay, no, we can go there because it's me. Okay, who gonna whip me?
It's
that, and like you said, the hand holding. We're not doing any of that in the studio. But that brings me to the story of how we started working together because I will never.
You want to tell it?
I'm telling y'all, because let me tell you, the thing about Myron being he's very much so an introvert today. Yeah. Back in the day, you probably were, a little degree of extrovert, but for the most part, this man is introverted.
You're right.
And so I had been a member of the Potter's House for years. And then I left and I had my kids. And so I was coming to church, but I wasn't singing in anything.
Right.
And so by the time I came back, you were over the choir and had just got over the praise team.
Right.
So I come to rehearsal because the worship leader at that point, it was so crazy. He saw a picture of me singing on Facebook and literally sent me a message and said, why don't you sing on the praise team? And I said, I've never known how to audition. He was like, come to the church tonight. That's how I ended up getting on the praise team. There was no formal nothing. So I show up at rehearsal and I will never forget me and Rochella was sitting beside each other and you said, Rochella sing the alto part. So I was just sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna sing whatever she sings. So after a couple of rehearsals like that, I just was like, okay, so I know I'm singing my part, but he's never telling me whether this is right, this is wrong. So I didn't know what was going on. But I don't think you knew at the time that me and Peaches were cool because when we got ready to record the worship record, we did Dwell Here.
Yep.
And
Sure did.
I came to the studio. She was like, I got a girl that can sing alto. I came and I will never forget this. We're sitting in there. You had went over the part and then you looked back at me and you said, are you going to be okay going in there by yourself? Hold on, Sam.
You see, y'all, I want y'all to know, all these many years later, DeeDee said,
what do you mean? Am I gonna be okay going in by myself? Yes, my guy, I'm gonna be fine. So I went in, we did the session, and we only did that one song that day.
Right.
And when we got ready to leave, Peaches was like, I think we may have found, and you was just like, yeah. And I was like, oh, finally he gives me his seal of approval because, baby, it's been months.
So what was your side of that?
Because for me, in that space, trust is built over time.
Yep, and he's just not a trust. He's not trusting up front, and I appreciate that because I am this way.
But I mean, and I think some people, for some people, I have to be careful with that because we live in a fragile day and time.
Very much.
But to me, I came up in an era where when you said you did whatever it is you said you do, then you get an opportunity and a chance to prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a musician, you know, many were the musicals where the musicians would stand on the wall, and you would just hope you got an opportunity to play during offering. During offering.
Because you are not getting up here on one of these main songs. If we don't know you, baby, you're not coming up here. Don't worry about it.
And so
offering and after church.
Right. And it speaks to, you know, basically preparation. It speaks to, you know, dedication. And I think a lot of times that's, and I pray the audience hears my heart and don't take it the wrong way, because a lot of times, you know, everybody want to get on just because they got a 30-second clip on Instagram and and then they want to be on. And I'm wanting to say, and the question is, no. No.
Because you doing a 30-second clip online does not translate to you doing a whole song.
Or a whole album.
And so I know I pay attention to a lot of what my I don't want to say idols, but a lot of the artists that I look up to. I pay attention to how y'all put people on. And so for me, I tell people all the time, none of these gigs that I do belong to me.
Right.
They can easily be snatched away. One sound check, I can come in and they're like, we're not going to use you no more. Right. So when it comes down for me recommending other people, I not only pay attention to if you post it, because I have sent people to sessions that I just heard a video of you singing at a church and was like, yo, she sounds like she might be able to do this session.
Right.
And I hope that it just work out.
Right.
I try my best to get to know people behind the scenes so that I can be like, so when you called me one time and said that you needed 2 sopranos for something, and I said Ebony and Sarah.
Yep, sure did.
I don't even remember how I met Ebony to be telling her to go anywhere and do anything. But I remember hearing her sing somewhere and said, I think she can probably do some work in the studio.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, okay. And then once you get with Myron, he's going to take it from there.
Right.
If you end up in the studio with him, you've arrived. Thank you. We appreciate you.
But and I think what the lesson that can be learned there is that it's a process.
It is.
You know, and I think a lot of times people, and this is just my opinion, so don't kill me in the comments or wherever, you know, that you're viewing this, is a lot of people want to sidestep and skip the process. You know, because, you know, everything is instant, and we know that part of the conversation, but there are things that you learn in the process that will equip you to have longevity.
Yes.
You know, and I think a lot of times, yes, you know, you can have an immense vocal ability, but, you know, you don't retain your parts, or you can't be, you know, you don't know how to be in a session with other people,
right?
You know, relationally. Right. So, you know, there's so many different elements and things that are a part of that. And I think all the creatives would do well to just be patient with that process part of it.
And just learn it. Because that whole thing about you being able to work with other people in the studio is a thing.
It's a whole thing.
Like
that's a whole other podcast by itself.
A whole other podcast by itself. Retaining your parts. Bruh. We do not have time to go over this for 10 minutes. Get this part the first. When you start playing the reference, I'm gonna need y'all to start listening. Because when you cut this reference off and say, okay, give it to me.
We in the red.
Because that's exactly what he does.
That's it.
He's just like, these are the words, blah, 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 blah. He'll play it and then stop it and say, all right, 1, 2, give it to me. And you're ready to go.
That's it.
We don't have time to be here.
No, we don't.
But that is also how we can get 4 and 5 songs done
there you
in a session, because
Hello, we're not wasting time.
We're not wasting time.
Practice at home.
Straight up.
So here's a question, because I gotta get to Levi.
Okay.
We have to get there.
Okay.
But this is just a question that I have randomly. But how many songs do you think you have written?
In my life?
In your life.
Oh.
I mean, you're only 30, so, you know.
I like that. I like that. May God bless you richly. Man, there's gotta be, at least 200 or 300. Yeah. A lot of people know, like I think someone asked me, I can't remember who it was, have I ever written an R&B song? And I have.
How many?
It was, now R&B maybe like 2 or 3.
Okay.
And I like recorded, it was whole Carl Thomas thing. Like, oh, these were in my younger days. These were in my younger days, but because for me, writing is you write what you feel.
You write what you feel.
You write what you
feel.
And so, then for me, there's a whole list of songs that I know that I've written that are not for public consumption. It's just for me.
Yep.
And so you have those, you have my private songs, you have those songs that I've just forgotten about.
Yeah.
And so I mean, man, 200 or 300. That's why I tell people, say the first words of the song, because it's all one long song at this point in my head.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are out here, you are writing for everybody, you're touring with Kirk and everybody else. You get to the point to where you say, I want to do my own thing. Is this a conversation with God? Like, how does Myron Butler and Levi come in and you guys?
Did you go through God's property and just pick them, or this was your crew already?
Right. I really want to know.
Were y'all the ones at rehearsal that would always be together anyway?
Where does this come from?
So the thing is, like, I always knew that I was a leader. Even at a young age. But in the God's property thing, after the God's property thing dissolved, for all of us, we knew that we weren't finished singing.
Okay.
And at that point, I was like, well, hey, let me start a group. And throughout all of the bad stuff that happened, for some reason, the members or those members in God's property, just they would follow me. I'd be like, hey, y'all, let's go. And they were like, hey, let's go. And so it wasn't like, okay, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you. It was kind of like we all kind of gravitated towards each other. I mean, me, Debette, Aisha, Victor, Cedric, LaRon, Deanna.
It was such a, it was like
Dallas
when I tell
greats,
you,
just
like,
making sure y'all know.
Before I had ever, like, I will never forget hearing Set Me Free for the first time. And I was just like, what in the world is this? Why would y'all be singing like this?
I want to know how that session went, but we'll talk.
Yeah, I mean, and so we actually started out, so we started out because the record deal was in 2004, but we had been singing way before that. Like, we would go and do Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
We had like a little debut out at what's the church out north, and they were in a movie. They had their youth church in the movie theater. We did something out there. We would do a lot of different things around town. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, we had recorded all these demos in the studio, and I was like, hey, I want us to do a record. And so I finally talked to the people over at EMI, and they actually, I know what it was. Kirk did there was some tragedy that happened here in the city, and Kirk did an event over at, it wasn't Will Rogers, but the junior college over there off of 30, whatever the name of it, and it was some random Sunday, and we did that event, and so I took the video from that event and I sent it to EMI, and it was like, hey, let's do a deal. They knew I had written all these songs before, and so it's like, okay, the fact that your resume as a songwriter, so your music has been in front of this caliber of audience, the group sounds great, let's do a deal. And that was how I actually formalized into a record. But the members were like people that we were all close. I mean, me, Andrea Wallace, and Faith was a part of Levi, Chatney, just all of the things. Like, we gravitated towards each other, and I don't know, it's a gift that God has given me, and that gift being where people would trust my leadership.
Yeah.
And I think
that has always been the thing for me, is that when working for men, if I cannot respect a man as a leader, there is absolutely no reason for me to be up in here with you. Because the moment you tell me that I got to sing this part, and if I say, oh, it's too high, and you get fly back with me, oh, I'm about to break you down. Because, sir, what? So I think that was the thing for me is a tidbit is Myron is very respectful of people's situations.
Absolutely.
Because when we got ready to do the worship record, Myron,
here she goes.
Okay, played with me and called my ex-husband and asked permission for me to sing with him. And when that man came in that room and told me that he had just got off the phone with Myron, and I was like, Myron who? And he was like, Myron Butler. He was calling because he wanted to know if I would be okay if you sang or if you worked with him on his worship record. And I said, why would he ask you that? I'm trying to understand what's
in true DeeDee fashion.
But you did right.
I did not understand what it was for. Exactly. Myron said, he told me when we got to the studio, he said, I am never going to work with someone's wife without talking. And I was just like, who are you? Because I don't understand why.
Value.
Yeah, I
don't understand this.
Well, the thing is, even in life, I still believe in the law of reciprocity, and you reap what you sow. And for me, the rationale for me is, no one's ever calling my wife and going, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
See,
and so for me, the respect that I want is the respect that I'm going to give.
Okay, because I was really confused like Myron.
And it's me honoring, that union, but it's also if I'm going to expect something, I need to be found giving it.
Okay. Because I was confused.
Agree.
I was confused. I was just like, listen,
why would he do that?
Now we know that was a different time.
Right.
But yeah, I think I told you this before. You, Kirk, Jamar Jones, like y'all are, because of the fact that y'all have families, and because you guys are, all three of y'all are out in the industry and y'all are doing things, but I have never, and I mean, we have seen a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
I have never, ever seen y'all ever be disrespectful to your wives.
Right.
You guys are all family men, like y'all taking care of your kids.
Absolutely.
So I was like, it's that type of stuff. So I wouldn't have known nothing about the stuff that you've done before. Because I don't be paying no attention to that. No. I want to know what you like in the studio.
Right.
Do you be making sly remarks to the women in the studio? Oh, okay, because I can't be here.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because there are some that do.
Yeah.
And for me, it was also understanding that narrative that's out there.
Yep.
And so I can't change them. I can't change nobody else, but I want to be found doing what's right. And in those moments, I always want to be around people that feel like they know that they can trust me, that I'm not going to do anything sideways. And at the end of the day, like, they trust my leadership.
Yes.
And so for me, with the members of Levi, that's really what it was. And I couldn't explain it to anyone else. I was like, these people, they trust me.
Yeah.
And so that and the trust doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It doesn't mean that I'm always going to, make the right decision. I'm going to mess up. But my heart is to lead from that
The
place.
posture is always right. And so you can get people to follow you because your heart posture is always where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
And I think that it comes out in the way, I think that all informs your craft.
Yeah.
I think all of that. I think because of the fact that you pay so much attention, as consumers, we pay so much attention to what they present. And that is the reason why I was saying the behind the scenes need to be shown.
Yeah.
Because I think that people need to see how all of this stuff comes together, but all of it is because of the way that you live your life.
Absolutely.
I don't care what nobody say. Now that I've experienced life, if you live a raggedy life, I promise you it's going to come out somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The songs may be dope, but it's something.
But I'm going to smell that raggedy.
Yeah.
I'm going to smell that raggedy in there.
And that's what I love so much about what it is that you do.
And I think that for me is it's also for me, it's one thing my grandmother always taught me. She says, son, stay humble. That way, if you fall, you ain't got far to go. And it was always me understanding that I can never become so egotistical to think that it's me and I puffed up in me because God could bring somebody else. And, and there's somebody on the backside of the desert that's far more gifted than me and far more deserving of me. But then the integral part of it is seeing all that God has blessed me with and seeing all of the opportunities and the gifts that God has given to me. And to me, I tell you, the Bible just keeps coming up. There's a scripture that says the goodness of God leads a man to repentance. The goodness will draw you to want to at least try to do right.
Absolutely.
And that's why for me, it's like, okay, not perfect, not perfection, not, squeaky clean. Yes, we all got some, skeletons in the closet, but my heart's posture is to always to lead people in a way that is integral and lead people in a way that is God-fearing. And that's just me. I don't know how to be any way other than that.
I appreciate it. There was one studio session that you had me to come do. And something about my tone that day just was not turning over the way it needed to. And I remember I said, Myron, you said, you just ain't got it today? I said, no, I don't. You said, okay, we'll come back tomorrow.
Come back tomorrow.
We literally canceled the rest of the day. And I came back the next day and was like, okay, I can do this. Because yesterday that tone was not sitting. That texture wasn't doing what I've been known to do. So no, let me go.
And that's the thing, also, that's one thing that as I, have worked with DeeDee and everybody that's worked with me, the bond is relational, the bond is spiritual, the bond is also musical. I can be somewhere and hear you singing and be able to tell, okay, I'll just know what it is.
Yes.
And I think as a leader, you're sensitive in those areas. It's like, okay, even there have been times when I'm on the stage and I'm like, he ain't got it tonight. Somebody cover. Somebody. And it's that. To me, that's what family is.
That's family.
That's what family is.
That is what family is. I tell people all the time, there are only 3 or 4 artists in this city that can get me to get up out of my bed to do anything. And I mean, Myron is definitely on the very short list of the ones that can do it because, number one, when we're on stage, it's fun, and because memories, man. When Kirk did 20 Years in One Night and we opened for them in San Antonio.
Yes.
And then we came to Dallas and did the next night.
Right.
And we were surprising Candy.
Right.
Myron, because he gives everything that he got. I don't think that I've ever sang behind Myron and he was just like, because even if he's not
we all out of breath.
Everybody.
Even if he's not feeling it before we get on stage, when we get out there, Myron is going. Yo, I turned around, Myron was sitting down on the set. Candy was out there doing her song, turning around. I know Myron is sitting back there on the set, and we just like, are you? He's like, no, go on without me.
Go on.
I'll come back.
After I catch my breath.
We'll end it. I appreciate the fact that you give so much on stage, but you give so much off stage.
Yes.
When Bruce and I were, when you came into my life, we were working all the time, and there would be a lot of times when I would be on the phone with him, like at sessions.
Yeah.
He would just be in my ear, whatever. But I told him, I said, Myron is the type of man that if I wanted to be with somebody in the industry, that's who I would want my husband to be like.
Yeah.
Because we could be on conference trips, get to the city on a Tuesday. By Thursday or Friday morning, if Timberland has not shown up in the city, child, y'all hurry up and get Myron out of here. He ready to go. He got a family.
And it's a wrap.
All right. Timberland, please hurry up and get here, baby, because Myron is going down fast.
Fast and in a hurry.
Agreed.
Fast.
Yeah.
I love the whole.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, some people say this, but for me, it's true. Like we are uniquely put together. God uniquely put us together, but she knows me like to the very fiber of my being. And when I get in those, she can tell. I mean, there will be times when, I've been known to, So I don't even. let's just say, Myron can Myron. Myron can Myron. And because Levi used to rehearse at our house, and there would be times before rehearsal where Timberland would come in and kind of give everybody the skinny, like, he on one today, so y'all just, take it with a grain of salt. And she's that for me. She helps me, I'll tell her, okay, I'm feeling this way, kind of help me process through. She helped me process through, seeing ministry in another way and being able to kind of step back and kind of, okay, like just take it, one step at a time, because I'm always trying to solve everything now.
Yeah.
And, she really is like my gift from God. She really kind of helps me like just do life for real and do ministry for real.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to do it if she wasn't there to really support me. I mean, there are times that we go and sing together, and I love that. And so, God really uniquely put us together.
Yeah, y'all did a duet one Sunday at church, and babe, I was over there in tears. I don't even know what y'all sang.
Communist Consulate.
Yep, you did. And I was just over there in tears. And everybody was like, DeeDee, why you crying? I was like, this isn't why I'm singing together. Always gonna be a thing for me.
Yo, what up, creatives? This creative plug of the week goes to Michael Dixon and his song Mistakes off of his new album, How Are You Healing? On digital platforms everywhere, or wherever you get your music. Go check out Mistakes from Michael Dixon, How Are You Healing, right now.
Child.
Yeah.
Myron. So we do a thing here. That's called special questions. And I'm going to ask you some questions.
Special questions.
You just have to answer them honestly.
There's no way to prepare for this, huh?
No. You're good. Trust me. It's going to be fine.
Okay. Is this like rapid fire?
Sort of, kind of. So what is your favorite lyric? Either one that you've written or one that is just one of your favorites.
One of my favorite. It is a song that I wrote, and it says, "You call me what I shall be, until I become what you call me."
I would just like to say, if y'all have not heard that song, it is a master class. Singers, bruh. I'm gonna let you hear it, because listen.
It is.
It is a master class for singers on just how. Y'all, just listen. It's on Myron's Purpose record. It's on Purpose.
Yep.
And I think it's down in the track listing. It may be like the second to the last song or like the third from the last song. But anyway, it's called You Call Me. Please go and get your life.
I just want to say this just because I'll give you the reason for that, because I think a lot of times in my life and in a lot of people's life, they can hear the voice of God speaking something over them, but their reality doesn't look like it yet. And how the whole premise of the song was, God, you keep calling me this until I become it, until like I actualize it. And that for me, just it spoke to God's purpose, and it spoke to knowing that what God has spoken over you will come to pass. So that's my.
That thing was a something. Yeah, that was something. That was something. It was a time.
What is your least favorite song to perform?
Not to perform.
You know what? A difficult song for us was always That Place.
I'm sure.
People loved it.
Love it.
But it's a lot of words.
It is.
It's a lot of moving parts.
People like a lot of words these days.
Yeah. We would go, and we got to a place to where it was just like second nature, but it was like,
talking about, that place is on the set list today.
Here we go.
Here we go.
But we love it. But yeah, that was.
So, okay. What are your creative blocks and how do you overcome them?
Creative blocks for me would be, that's a great question. A creative block for me would be when I am carrying too much in my head, like from a life standpoint, when I'm frustrated, if I'm angry, those things hinder me from being creative. And so for me, and this is gonna sound strange, but a creative block for me is a lot of noise.
Makes sense.
I write in just like that. It has to be, in order for me to hear, like tap into what's in my head, I can't have a lot going. Like it can't be like loud music and people running and it has to be, yeah.
Okay, I have a question. So when you're at home and you have 3 children, and Drew is, how old is she?
She's 11.
11. Okay, so she's beyond the point now of like really being loud at home.
Oh, no.
No,
my family's loud.
Okay, so I think that's what I wanted to know, because as an introvert having a family, do you get annoyed by super loud, like loud noises out of nowhere though?
I do.
How do you deal?
So
asking for me.
Yeah. My wife has a thing and my wife's family has a thing.
Okay.
So I want you to say this sentence. I want you to say, we went down the street and we turned the corner to come back to the house. 1, 2, 3.
We went down the street.
And I was they talk at the same time.
Oh, that's my family, babe.
Everybody talks at that volume, and so my kids do it.
Oh, yikes!
And so, what I have to do is I have to go in my music room. I have to put on my headphones.
Okay.
And I just have to, I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things. It would make me. I would have to.
I'm there.
I would have to do that. But so and the introvert part of me, so the best times of the day for me is 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And like I go to bed early, but 11 midnight, because that's when the house is quiet. And so that's when I'm up and can be creative. So that's kind of how I kind of find my way with all of that.
What song is your guilty pleasure?
Ooh.
If you come out and say something about Meg Thee Stallion, I'm gonna be weak.
What song is my?
Because
give me context on that.
Like what song do you just love at any time? You can literally just turn it on and either you turn up. It's one of it could not. It don't have to be a gospel song. It could literally be whatever song.
It is totally gonna be a gospel song. No,
I'm just saying. It is Myron, but I'm just saying you can walk in and
I'm the gospel church guy.
Well, yes, you are. But what is a guilty pleasure song, or one of your favorite songs to just play and ride out to?
Man, I mean, if I really said it, it would be something no one has ever heard. But I would have to say, I'm Encouraged, Thomas Whitfield.
Okay.
I knew it was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be either a Whitfield song, a Hawkins song, or Andre Crouch.
And then after that, I would say, "Dear Jesus, I Love You," Walter Hawkins.
Okay.
And then after that, "We're Not Ashamed."
Yep, that's my song. We Are Not Ashamed.
All right.
I'm the church guy.
All right. 2 more questions, and then we out of here.
What is a Meg Thee Stallion song? Like, what's the
Anything, child. I don't know none of her songs. I just know she be twerking. I cannot recite one Meg Thee Stallion song.
Okay.
If you could do another profession that was not music,
Ooh.
what would it be?
If I could do another profession that is not music, it would be what they told me I could never be.
No.
They told me I could never be an airline pilot.
Why couldn't you be an airline pilot?
Because I guess there's something with colors, and I have I guess some degree of color blindness.
Oh.
And that was early on. They told me I could never do that.
Shut up.
So I would do that.
Wow.
I love that. I love
know,
stuff
right?
that you figure out. Okay. This question just came in. This came from the team, so I just want to let you know that this is. What is your most ratchet song that you have in your playlist?
Oh.
Y'all, it's Myron. Ain't no ratchet song in your playlist.
This came from the team, so I just want to know.
Okay, give me examples of a ratchet song.
Oak Cliff, that's my hood. Put it in his face. Get that understood. Hey, this ain't what you want.
Don't have none. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry about it. All good. This is.
I hate that because I'm the church guy.
You've
Never was gonna have nothing ratchet in it.
You've written so many songs.
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot of songs that you have not written.
Absolutely.
What is a song that you ultimately wish that you had written?
Ooh. A song that I wish.
You hear it and be like, I wish I wrote that song. I wish I had thought of that song.
Ooh. Like the song with Eric Clapton and Babyface, Change the World. Yeah. I wish that was, like I need that one.
Wow.
Go and get that one to me.
Yeah, let me get that. Let me get that check too, because
right, for it's children. Yeah.
Myron, man, thank you.
Thank you. This
so
has been
much
fun.
for being here. You are our big brother. You are a leader.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you so much. Thank you
y'all
for
for
doing this. Real quick, just because we know we talked about it, I told you that you are a piece of why we are even together.
Okay.
Honey, do you want to tell
I don't know where we're
piece
going.
of that story?
Huh?
What story?
So,
Yeah, help.
how we met on Instagram was.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, do you want to?
Okay, so
this is a real thing?
No, it's a real thing. This is a real thing.
It's a real thing. So we had done TBN.
Okay.
And On Purpose had just come out.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I think it had released that night.
Okay.
And we had did TBN, and I was in the car, and the song that I was playing from the record was Now I'm walking in my liberty, becoming who. So I was in the car and I did a video. I did a video of singing. I just did maybe one or two lines of it, and I put it up on Instagram. He commented on the video.
Wow.
I had never heard of him before in my life.
You never heard of Bruce?
Never. He
And
commented.
I knew her career for a long time.
I knew nothing about him.
Yeah.
So he commented on the video and was like, "Oh my God, sang." And I was like, "You gotta get Myron's." I don't know him, but I'm responding because I'm just like, I talk to people on social media.
Right.
I'm like, "You gotta go and get Myron's new record. It just came out. It's bombing." He was like, "I already know." And then he commented again and said, maybe I'll be able to see you, when we get to town this weekend. I go to his page. I see that he's a drummer, but I didn't look to see who he had worked with or whatever. I just came back and was like, if he's saying, "I hope I'll see you," maybe he knows somebody that I know. So I was just like, oh, I'm sure our paths will cross at some point this weekend.
And they did.
Didn't they cross?
Now, granted,
Wow.
it wasn't. They crossed.
crossed.
For sure. Now, it wasn't.
Tied up and tangled up.
Now, let's be very clear.
We're being clear?
Being very clear. It wasn't that I was shooting my shot. I literally had been a fan. No, seriously. I wasn't shooting my shot. But I had been following her for a while, her and teachers, just in the community. And so they changed on. I wasn't shooting my shot.
Okay.
I wasn't shooting my shot. I promise I wasn't shooting my shot. But it was amazing because I had been listening to the record, and that came up, and she was singing it, and I was just like, yo, that's why when she commented and said, then you gotta, I commented, I said, I already know, because I had literally been playing it. You know what I mean? When that was happening. So that was the thing, but that was the start of us being able to meet.
I literally had never even seen Bruce's name on social media. So when he commented on this video, I was just like, I don't know who this is, but I'm just gonna respond.
Yeah.
Because whatever.
So just want to let y'all know that Myron Butler is bringing people together.
I'm Myron Butler is bringing husband and wives together.
Okay. Writing songs and putting the girls and the boys together.
All right, up, tied up, tangle up.
There it is.
Tangled up.
There it is.
That is so funny. Every time we talk about that, like, oh, I hope our, well, maybe our paths will cross at some point. We're going like, who they crossed?
They crossed.
They
absolutely did.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Your purpose.
The purpose was.
The purpose was.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Thank you, Myron. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for having me.
We love you, man.
Yes, sir. Love y'all too.
Appreciate it.
Love you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and kicking it with us at the Kreative's Way, man. We will see you guys later.
See ya. Peace.